1, 2, 3, 4. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming at you with a review of Battleborn's brand new debut album, Blood, Fire, Magic, and Steel. So, obviously, this is their debut album, so I have never heard anything about this band. I'll share a nice little tidbit. I was debating whether I was going to review this album tonight or play Skyrim. And when I decided to review the album, I looked up the band on Metal Archives, and it looks like their main lyrical theme is the Elder Scrolls. What a sign. I mean, Battleborn is a family name in one of the key towns in Skyrim, so I should have been tipped off, but it also just sounds like a nice generic power metal band name. So, sonically, this album sounds amazing. Like, you would never have guessed this was a debut. I'm reminded in this regard of the first Evertale album from, 7 years ago or something, and also the first Fellowship album. Point being, it often takes bands a couple albums to get to the point where their albums sound really good, whereas the previous two I mentioned and Battleborn just hit it right away. Musically, I'll get to the songs in a second. You know, it's power metal, and it's fucking great power metal at that. Some Beast in Black, some Bloodbound, some Glory Hammer, although not as silly. Well, let's get into some songs. Windcaller. Great opener, amazingly good drum production, and great production all around. I'm already really excited before this track is over. My first thought here, and I already sort of alluded to this, was, is this the best power metal debut since Fellowship? That was last year. If you exclude that because it's fairly recent, but also considered a phenomenal debut, I'm thinking like Twilight Force's 2014 debut. Something I want to say about the vocals. They're great, but they're appropriate. Just about all power metal vocalists are immensely talented, but a lot of them take it to a point where it's just cheesier than Wisconsin. Basically, the vocals serve the song, and that does call for a degree of acrobatics and showing off, but it's not the only thing present. Moving on. Dragonheart, I think this was one of the singles. It's a bit poppier and it's mid-tempo. It sounds like a keyboard-heavier Bloodbound, but I honestly like this more. On to Power Force. The chorus sounds like a more serious Glory Hammer. This is a good track, and they bring in what is my favorite power metal parlor trick, the double bass drumming exclusively for the last chorus. This recently occurred on Dragonborn by Twilight Force. That one is a bit more similar to Dragonheart, but Dragonborn inevitably alludes to Skyrim and Elder Scrolls, so I had to loop that one in too. The Endless Grey. This song was an absolutely beautiful ballad. There's a teeny tiny callback to Beyond the Realms of Death by Judas Priest, but it's definitely not in rip-off territory. It's a great track with great vocal layering, like Queen or Blind Guardian style. I've started doing this, and it's going to come up a lot with this album. The chorus of this song has the Africa chords, meaning Africa by Toto. It's a very overused chord progression, but it's overused for a reason. Firestorm. More Africa chords in the chorus, but this time with double bass drumming, so it hits a little differently. Down your drinks and raise your swords. I could tell immediately this is going to be a great drinking song, although this is actually more of just a typical anthem than what I would think of as a typical drinking song. And you guessed it, Africa chords in the chorus. Ride North for Winterhold. This is a great power metal burner. Really fun, really energetic, makes you want to grab a sword and save the world. And a great chorus with Africa chords. Killer key change towards the end, though. Last but not least, Sky Guard You. Let me start off by saying I don't think there are Africa chords in here, so that'll cap it at 4 for the album. This is the best album closer I've heard in a while. I'm going to take a lot of flack for this, but I think this is a far better album closer than the last Crystal Bearer on the most recent Twilight Force. Absolutely amazing song, gorgeous, uplifting. It reminds me of, I think it's the last song of Majestica's A Christmas Carol. Now that song, it's called A Christmas Has Come. It's about, Ebenezer Scrooge waking up, realizing he's not going to hell and deciding to change his life. Now, Sky Guard You is not a Christmas song, so it's not as traditionally optimistic or uplifting, but I would say it moved me just as much. For reference, there were a couple other tracks I wanted to talk about, but I excised them because I was just running into too many. This album is already a contender for Album of the Year. The only thing that's standing close is the most recent Twilight Force. Absolutely a wonderfully propitious debut. I don't know where this band is from. Okay, I just checked. They're from the UK. So it's not hopeless that they will get to tour. I didn't think anything would get me more excited than John Oliva talking about the new Savatage, but this album just took over. Wow. Rock on.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.